Well, the European Union laid out conditions for political engagement with the Taliban. For more, let's cross to Brussels and speak to our correspondent, Dave Keating. Dave, the major concern, of course, is legitimizing a regime that, when it was previously in power, offered safe haven to terrorists and ignored human rights. Now, we're still waiting for the unveiling of the new Taliban government, but how does the EU plan to engage with it?
Yeah, the EU is really trying to walk a tightrope here because, on one hand, they don't want to legitimize the Taliban government, as you say, but at the same time, they realize that to accomplish the objectives they want there, which include getting the remaining people out that want to get out and helping the Afghan people, they're going to have to work with the Taliban government in some way. Now, yesterday, EU foreign ministers met in Slovenia, and after that meeting, Josep Borrell, the EU's foreign affairs chief, said that they are setting up a joint mission in Kabul, that is, all EU countries operating jointly there, if security conditions allow for that, and that's a big if. Now, he said that engaging with the Taliban, as this joint presence will do, does not necessarily mean that the EU will recognize the Taliban government. That is an additional step, he said, that would be conditional on specific actions taken by the Taliban government. So the EU would want to see respect for human rights, including women's rights, preventing Afghanistan from becoming a harbor for terrorism, facilitating aid coming into the country, all of those things before the EU would actually formally recognize the Taliban government. And that will take some time to establish whether or not this new Taliban government is doing that. And so in the meantime, he said the EU will be engaging with the Taliban government, again, to try to get the remaining Afghans out that want to leave and to try to help Afghans on the ground, particularly as there are really big risks of the economy in Afghanistan collapsing.
Yeah, and Dave, given this conflict and the looming humanitarian crisis, what is the EU doing to prepare for a possible wave of Afghan refugees?
Well, they're going to be working with neighboring countries. EU interior ministers had already discussed this idea earlier in the week. Foreign ministers talked about it as well. So now they're talking about setting up a joint platform with Afghanistan's neighbors in which they would get funding from the European Union to house refugees coming from the country. The implicit thing here is that they would keep those refugees from coming toward Europe, coming to the European Union, that they would keep them there. That is an idea that's going to be controversial. It's similar to the deal the EU has with Turkey that has come in for a lot of criticism that the EU is funding deplorable conditions for Afghanistan and Turkey. If the same thing were to be seen in Pakistan and Iran and Afghanistan's other neighbors enabled with EU funding, that will be a controversial idea. But that is the strategy they're working on now, having Afghanistan's neighbors deal with any refugee surge using EU money.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Dave Keating reporting from Brussels.